Hi, this is Brandon, founder of SEO Optimizers. And in my episode of the Business Growth Architect Show, I will discuss strategies I use to help get more traffic to your website from Google, free traffic using search engine optimization, and how to ensure that you get targeted traffic that's going to actually convert into sales, leads, phone calls, emails, whatever that conversion goal is, because that's the number one thing is got to make sure that traffic that you're getting is targeted so that you get those conversions. And check out the episode and to learn more about everything.
Hello, fabulous person. Beate Chelette here, the Growth Architect. Welcome back to the Business Growth Architect Show, where we bring you cutting-edge business strategies from some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs, business transformation experts, and visionaries who want to help you to scale your impact. Look for one tangible strategy that you can take back and implement right away. And now back to our guest. Welcome back. This is your host, Beate Chelette, the Growth Architect. Today with me is Brandon Leibowitz, and we are talking today about something that is so complicated, at least it seems to be so complicated, that I sometimes want to pull out my hair one by one, and the words are SEO. So when I hear SEO, it's SEO this, SEO that. So I figured if I bring Brandon on this podcast, he can shed some much needed light on what SEO is and what we should be doing. And is it all a bunch of nonsense, or is it really that important? So Brandon, welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me on today.
So let's talk about maybe giving our audience an overall explanation. What is SEO?
So SEO is search engine optimization, and that really entails optimizing websites for different search engines, which nowadays Google kind of runs everything. So when you're searching on Google, there's ads at the top. Those are all paid ads. Every time you click on it, those websites, they're paying Google maybe a couple cents per click, could be a couple dollars per click, sometimes a couple $100 per click. It gets expensive, but those are all paid ads. Right below those ads are the organic results. There's 10 websites that are listed on that first page of Google, and SEO is trying to get you ranked in those 10 organic spots. But nowadays, it's not just websites that appear, images appear. So want to optimize your images. So images sometimes show up there, and if we get your website and images shown, that just doubles the chances of somebody finding you. Sometimes you'll see videos in there, and when it comes to videos, 90% of the time it's going to be a YouTube video, because Google owns YouTube and they want to promote YouTube as much as possible, because Google really only cares about making money. If you search on Google and you don't click on an ad, Google's not making any money. But if you search on Google and there's a YouTube video and you watch that YouTube video, the first thing that appears anytime you play a video, there's always an advertisement. So YouTube is making money, which is really Google making money. So I would tell everyone, try to get a presence on YouTube sooner than later, because Google is going to promote that as much as possible. And SEO is just trying to take up as much free real estate as possible on that first page of Google.
So search engine optimization, so SEO. So what I'm hearing you say, so it is the umbrella term for a number of different actions that we as business owners need to do, take, or think about as we creating content, building our websites that get us into the ranking. And the ranking matters because we need to be ranked high, because people don't go on search result $1.2 million. Am I rephrasing this correctly?
Yeah, pretty much. You got to be on that first page of Google. First page of Google is where everyone goes. Page 2, some people will go there, but after that, I mean, the further you get, the less people are going to see it. So if you're not at the top, you're missing out on the majority of the eyeballs. And SEO is just trying to tap into that free real estate on that first page of Google, or any page on Google.
I like that. And so tell us now, for somebody who has never heard of you, tell us who you are and what is your specialty and your obsession with SEO.
Yeah, so my name is Brandon Leibowitz, and just kind of fell into this digital marketing world. Wasn't planning on it, but got my degree in business marketing. And the first job I got out of school was helping a company out with their digital marketing. And That was back in 2007. I didn't really know much about digital marketing. They didn't really teach it in college. And the company that I worked for said, that's fine. We don't know much either. We're going to learn alongside with you, which was kind of interesting. And so worked there for a few months. And after working there just for a few months, well, I was helping out with like their SEO, search engine optimization, doing social media marketing, helping out with paid ads, doing email marketing, and just kind of realized that everyone's probably going to have a website in the future. And everything I mentioned definitely works to get traffic. And I would recommend doing all those tactics. It's better. You don't want to just put all your eggs in one basket. You want to try to get traffic from as many sources as possible. But SEO is just a way to get free traffic. So I thought, why spend money on paid ads when you could get up there for free? And just kind of stuck with the SEO over the years, worked at different advertising agencies as a director of SEO, and before work or after work on my lunch breaks, I work on my own company, building it up, and was able to eventually build it up to enough where I was able to quit my job and focus solely on this, and been doing that ever since. And nowadays help out with the SEO and do a little bit of paid ads, a little bit of social, but try to just focus more on that organic side of things, tapping into that free traffic.
Yeah, and I think that's really what a lot of people want, but they don't really understand the different pieces or the layers that go into it. Would it be okay if you give our listeners maybe an overview of some of the things that we should be doing or that we need to be paying attention to? And I know there's so much of it, so I want to stay relatively high level. But you already mentioned you need to have a YouTube presence. I assume, Google My Business, that you also need to have a business page for Google. That probably is also important because it is a Google tool, and Google rewards itself rather generously across its own platform. What else do we need to, or should we, or can we do easily that really helps us to get this SEO piece elevated?
Yeah, there are a lot of pieces to the SEO puzzle. And I like to say there's like smaller pieces and bigger pieces. And some of the bigger ones, or the most important one, is content. Google feeds off text. They can't really read images or videos or audio yet. They're trying to, but the more text you have on each page on your website, the better off you're going to be. And the more pages you have, the more keywords you could target, because each page can only really target about like 3 to 5 words. After that, it kind of loses relevancy. So the more pages you have, the more keywords you're going to be able to target. But each page needs text. If you're like an e-commerce website selling like t-shirts or hats or whatever it is, if you just have a bunch of pictures of products but no text, it's going to be hard for the search engines to understand what really is going on that page. So put some content on there. And I know a lot of people don't want to put text on the page because they want to keep it aesthetically pleasing, but you have to have that balance for SEO and for people. Like for humans, when we get to a website, we don't want to just see a bunch of text. So I always tell people, throw the text at the very bottom of your website, because most people don't really scroll. If you think about it, most people never scroll down to the bottom of a page, but Google will read from top to bottom. So if you put the text at the bottom of the page, Google will definitely see it. And some people will, some people won't, but Google will definitely see it and pick it up and be able to decipher and figure out what this page is about, because Google is just a robot. It's not that smart. I mean, it's pretty smart, but they still need you to spoon feed them as much information as possible. The more you give them, especially with text, the easier it is for them to understand and decipher that page. And one thing about the content, though, it has to be unique. You can't just take text from one page to another and copy it over. Google does not like that. It's called duplicate content. You have to write original content for each page. And on average, it's about 400 words of text. The more you can put in there, the better. But usually what really matters, though, it's not actually 400 words. It's you want to do more than your competitors. So an easy way to figure out how much text I actually need to put on there is just search on Google for your keywords. See who ranks on that first page of Google. Open up all those websites, skipping over the ads, but open up all the websites that are in the organic, the SEO rankings, and look at how much text they have. And you could kind of average it out. If you see everyone's writing 400 words, then you might want to put 450 words, doing a little bit more. But if you see everyone's writing 1,000 words, you might want to write 1,100 words. Or if everyone's writing 100 words, maybe you only need to write 150 or 200 words. So it's not really a one size fits all with SEO. It's every website is different. And what we're trying to really figure out is who's on that first page of Google and how much SEO have they done. Because if we're trying to figure out Google changes every single day, and we're never going to figure out Google. But we can try to look at what your competitors are doing and kind of just spy on them, look at their keywords. You'll look at their backlinks, we could just talk about later, and pretty much see exactly what they're doing and then try to incorporate it into your own website.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Are you saying that if I do my blog post content, then I should err on the longer side of copy versus the shorter side of copy?
For the most part, you want to try to add more text as long as it makes sense. So
Yeah.
if you're just writing a blog post or something where it's just like, what's 2 + 2? It's kind of basic. You don't need to write 2,000 words, but if you're writing something about like how to like change a car flat tire or something like that, you probably write a couple thousand words. So Google says it's all about the user experience, and write for the user. Don't write for the search engines. Write for people. That's number one, is just make sure you're providing good quality content. That's really what Google's looking for, is good quality original content that's written for the user, and however amount of text that needs to be there should be there. That should answer the question that that person's searching for.
Are you saying that that the notion that I have heard over and over and over again, where it says you need to write the text search engine friendly, that is no longer true? Because I've been doing this a long time, so I can tell if an article is written for search engine optimization or if it's an actual article that's written. Because the article that is an SEO friendly article is so bloody repetitive, Brandon, that it is almost difficult to read. So you're saying that that's really not necessary.
Yeah, in the past, you would want to repeat the keywords over and over again, but now you still want to optimize your content for SEO, but now it's not repeating the same keywords over and over again. The most important place is definitely the title of an article, blog post, podcast, whatever it is. The title is the most important place to put as many keywords as possible without repeating yourself. And you want to limit it to 60 characters. You don't want to make it short and clickbaity, because you're just kind of missing out on throwing an extra word or two in there. That's going to really help out. But when you do write the content, though, in the content of the blog, whatever content nowadays, you just really write for people. Don't try to put the words in there over and over again. Naturally, those keywords should emerge. And if they're not emerging, then maybe you're not writing the right content that answers that question. But naturally, if you're writing to solve that problem, those keywords should pop up in there. And then there's little tricks that you could do, like interlinking your pages together, because that's really important. Google follows the links in your blog posts. And if you link them to other pages or your service pages, it helps with topical relevancy with Google. So I always tell people, try to link out to maybe 1 or 2 of your products or services, and then link out to a couple blog posts. Because also, if you're just reading, like for a person, if we're just reading a blog post and there's no links in it or anything, you just get to the end of it, you're like, all right, what do? I could leave a comment, I could share it on social media, but after that, you're kind of done. But if there's clickable links, then that reader hopefully will be like, oh, I want to learn more about this. Click onto that, stay on your website longer. And Google does the same thing. They see those links, they follow it, and it helps them just better understand what pages are related to one another on your website.
I like that a lot. What do you, the other thing that I have heard that I wanted to ask you is that there's been the notion where some people say you need to link out to reputable sources in your articles. Does that have any relevance at all?
Yep. So Google also looks at who you link out to. So when you are writing content, I would link out to third-party non-competitive sites. So maybe like a Wikipedia or something like that. But you don't want to link out to your competitors, because with SEO, if you give your competitors a backlink, you're just helping them rank higher in Google, because backlinks are a very important part of SEO, and who you link out to is you're helping them rank higher in the search results. So Google looks at that. And if you link out to a lot of random sites that are irrelevant and have nothing to do with you, that throws off their algorithm. I wouldn't link out a bunch, maybe once per blog post if you wanted to, but make sure that you link out to a site that's relevant and not a competitor. Because if you're linking out to your competitor, you're just helping them out with their SEO.
So what I'm hearing you say, Brendan, is that you want us to be extremely deliberate about what we do. So focus on what this article is about. Have one main topic, so you know what the keyword is. Focus on that keyword.
keep it long enough to, like 400 or 500 words. Link it to other articles that are relevant on your own website so that your user can stay longer on your website, which gets the ranking up again. If you link out to a non-competitive website that is highly reputable, because that increases your credibility. So these are some of the things I think everybody can do right away. Is there anything you want to add to that before we get to my question about your favorite strategy?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other parts of content, like you want to break it up into multiple headers and sections. So you don't want to just have big blocks of text and those header tags, or you want to add what are called header tags. So instead of just bolding a section, you separate it into these H1, H2, H3 tags. It's a little technical, but most platforms let you select if you're doing paragraph or you're going to do a header, and having different headers, header 2, header 3s, helps Google break up the content and know that this is this section, this is what this section is about. Then you could also just search in Google for your keywords. And in Google search results, there's going to be this section, it's called People Also Ask. And these are all high search volume phrases or questions that people constantly search on Google. And if you take those questions and answer them in your content, then you potentially will show up in that People Also Ask section. So I would pick the questions that are relevant. Don't just take every question, but the ones that make sense. Take those questions verbatim and then answer them in your own unique perspective. But take those questions because these are all high search volume questions that Google's showing you right there. People also ask these questions anytime they search for your keyword. So that's a quick way to get some new ideas and add more text there, and just hopefully get that People Also Ask section show up more real estate that you take up, the better off you are. So any way to try to maximize that and show up in more places on Google for free, take advantage and try to jump on those.
That's really, really great advice. I like that. I think that, what we have done, and maybe this is something that our listener can really pay attention to, is that when we created a template for our blog posts, we said that we wanted, the title, and then there had to be a subtitle, and then there had to be a one-line description, and then there had to be this. Now, talking to you, now what we're going to be adding is subtitles and subheaders, because we've done that, but we are not diligent enough about it. And we've done backlinks, but we're not diligent about it. So now, if you have a template that you send to your writer, or that you follow yourself, if you write yourself, or your team, and you say, this is the format in which we're posting, makes it a lot easier for everyone to constantly, check off all these different things that are required, because it's so easy to take shortcuts and then say, well, I'll do it the next time. And then you forget, and then it disappears in the dark, black, bottomless hole, and then you will never do it again. So I think the discipline is what I'm hearing you say. If you do it, take the extra 10 minutes that it takes to do these measurements of have the subheader look at what the other suggestions are people also looked for. I never even thought about that, and I feel we are pretty good at this stuff, but we obviously are not. I'm probably deluding myself. So we will be right back after this short message to talk about Brandon's favorite strategy.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. This is Beate, the Growth Architect. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for your time. Have you ever wondered why your business is not growing as quickly as you would like it to be? Well, you may have a business growth blocker. And if you'd like to find out what that business growth blocker is, go and take our brand new quiz at growthblockerquiz.com. And in only a few minutes, you're not just going to find out what that blocker is, but also what to do about it. Again, go to growthblockerquiz.com. And now back to the show.
And welcome back. This is Beate Chelette, the Growth Architect, live with Brandon Leibowitz, talking about something we love to hate and hate to love: search engine optimization, SEO. So Brandon, you gave us some really good advice on how we can do write blog posts and things for our website. So, what is one of your favorite strategies that you can share, or want to go even a little bit deeper into it? Because we talked already so much about backlinks. Is there anything strategic that we should be doing where we're all going to go, wow, that is the best thing I've ever heard?
I mean, unfortunately, Google doesn't really care what you put on the website. So you could make all these changes to your website, doing on-page SEO, putting keywords and creating new pages and making your website load quickly. But Google doesn't really trust anybody without what are called backlinks, getting other websites to talk about you. The more websites that talk about you that are relevant and authoritative, the more trust Google is going to pass on to you. And then Google looks at the keywords and all the optimizations on your website. But without backlinks, it's pretty much impossible to rank on Google. Google's whole algorithm was based off backlinks. That's why Google became so popular, is that's how they rank websites, is based off backlinks. And ever since then, they've had backlinks as a big part of their algorithm. They've changed how they look at them pretty much all the time, because people figure out ways to game the system and find loopholes and ways to trick Google. So Google changes the way they look at backlinks, but they're still a big part of their algorithm today. So a backlink, for example, is a clickable link from another website that points to yours. So if you're reading an article, let's say on Forbes.com, and in there it says Brandon Leibowitz, and you click on it and it goes to my website, I'd be getting a backlink from Forbes.com. So it has to be another website that talks about you with a clickable link where you click on it and it goes to your website. That's like that website is voting for you, essentially, giving you like a trust signal. And Google uses that as a way to figure out if you're trustworthy or not.
Yes, I love that. So one of the reasons, we are doing podcast guesting and podcast hosting. So I'm a host, this is my show, but I'm also a guest on many other shows, is because it creates an endless stream of incoming and outgoing links, which we know are critical for SEO. So talk to us about somebody who maybe like you are doing podcast guesting as a strategy to get backlinks to build your own SEO. What would that look like?
Yeah, so with the backlinks, it's all about finding sites that are related to what you're doing, is a big part of Google's algorithm. So if you're getting a backlink, let's say if you're a doctor and you're getting a backlink from a restaurant, it's going to look a little strange. Like, why is a restaurant giving this doctor a backlink? So if you're a doctor, you want sites that are related to you, that are related to health and wellness, like WebMD or Wikipedia, stuff like that, where it's related to you. So you don't want just any random sites linking to you. So when you are building backlinks, you want to find niche related sites. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. You could start writing for blogs that are in your industry. You could do interviews. You'd do podcast interviews, and essentially just try to find websites or podcasts or shows that are related to what you're doing. You don't want to, again, like if I'm doing SEO, I don't want to be on a podcast about health, because it's not going to really align. It's not going to make sense. So finding sites that are related to what you're doing and building relationships with the webmasters or the podcasters or whoever it is. And with the podcasting, you could just go search on Google for podcasts and then put your keyword, whatever it may be, and start looking and see who ranks on those first couple pages. Because if they're ranked on those first couple pages, they're definitely doing something right and are getting some SEO value. So if you reach out to those sites and start trying to build relationships with them, then potentially you could be a guest on their show and maybe get a backlink from their website. And then you're getting a backlink from a site that's related to what you're doing. It's a podcast, but it's a site that's podcasting about your industry. So that's going to help with that relevancy aspect, because you don't really just want any random websites. Targeted websites are what matters. It's all about quality, not quantity. In the past, it was a numbers game. If I have 100 backlinks and you have 200, you would rank higher than me. But now it's not the number of backlinks, because too many people have spammed Google over the years and try to manipulate those results, that now they're just like, it's quality. And a quality backlink means it's from a website that's related to you, and how authoritativeness, like how big is this website? A backlink from, like if I gave you a backlink, it'd be good, but it's not the same quality as like a New York Times, LA Times, Forbes, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur. So the bigger the website, the more SEO value, and then the more relevant or related it is to you, the better off it's going to be as well.
I love that. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we don't do any podcast guesting interviews on any fitness, nutrition website podcasts, because we know that that is not going to be relevant for us. We do a lot of podcast guesting on website, on people's programs that are dealing with entrepreneurship and business growth, because that is aligned with that. So I think that what I'm hearing you say in this particular segment is not necessarily more is better, but that you do have to stay congruent and within your lane. So what are we going to do with people that send us these offers on, hey, I read your article and I am an article writer, and why don't you publish my article? And all I want is an outgoing link, that is a do follow link. Is that hurtful for somebody to do that, to do a paid links out, or does it matter?
No, I mean, to build backlinks, still a big way of building backlinks is blogging on other people's websites. And as long as you're offering value, that's all that matters. Like I get those emails, I get probably 10, 15 of those every single day that people are pitching me content, but sometimes it's an authoritative figure in my industry where I'm like, all right, I'll actually use your content. But if they're like, oh, I have this casino website and I want to publish it, it's like, no, because that doesn't make any sense. But if it's relevant and it's not a competitor and they're offering good quality content, which unfortunately most people are just spamming, but if you weed through all that, and every once in a while there will be a good one where I've had some big names that message me and want to build relationships. So I'm like, all right, these ones I'll work with you, but other people try to steer clear if it's like, because Google looks at who you link out to. So if you publish, like if you accept someone publishing a casino website on your blog about clothing and fashion, it's going to tarnish your blog and you don't want that. So it's all about relevancy and making sure if you're doing it, don't spam, just build relationships. Just like I was saying, you could search on Google for podcasts that are related to what you're doing. You could search on Google for blogs that are industry related to what you're doing. As long as you build relationships, don't spam them, but try to build a relationship with the webmaster or whoever it may be, that's the editor. That's the way to go about it. And don't pay for links. You're not supposed to buy links. If Google finds out that any website is selling or buying links, they're going to penalize them, even though most people do it. But try to stay away from that stuff, because you don't want to do anything that will potentially get you hurt, because you never know what's going to change and how Google's going to be able to find these changes in the future. If they see that you're doing something that they don't want you to do, they're going to be happy to penalize you, because if you're penalized, you're dropping rankings and you're probably going to spend a lot more money on ads, and they're going to be happy about that.
Oh, that's so interesting. I did not know that was forbidden. We just say we're charging for it because we get so much spam, and that's our standard answer, and it weeds out the people that are serious about content from everybody who's just got a spam account to just send these out by the hundreds. So we do that to weed out people. I mean, when you do that, 90% drop off and never even contact you again, right? And so the 10% that come back to you, at least you know that they have a business that's around that you can even take seriously. But yeah, we like you, we get kind of a lot of stuff. So tell us, for somebody who's now heard all of this stuff about SEO and says, I better be talking to this guy, Brandon, and have him help me figure out my SEO. Where should they go? Where can they find out more about you, Brandon?
So for everyone that wants to learn more, I actually create a gift for them. So if they go to my website at seooptimizers.com, that's seooptimizers.com/gift. They can find that there, along with my contact information and a bunch of classes I've done over the years. I've thrown up for free, so they can see step-by-step how to do a lot of stuff that we talked about. And also, that we want to book some time on my calendar for free website analysis. I'm happy to check it out from an SEO point of view and let them know what's working and what's not working. And they can book some time on my calendar there as well.
That sounds wonderful. So you got all the secret tools and you can run your analysis, and then you're going to come back and you're going to go, well, you are having 16 broken links and all kinds of other things, and that's really bad. So I think, we do SEO audits regularly to fix stuff and take a look at where stuff is coming from. So I highly recommend anybody who's listening, it'll be in the show notes, to take advantage of that and to, get that audit for your website, because there's always a couple of things that can be fixed very quickly and easily. And then you do want a long-term plan on how to get your SEO up so that you can be found easier. So Brandon, it's been absolutely fabulous to have you on the show. Thank you so much for all this insight and you freely and openly sharing with our audience. And I think you helped us understand some of the mystery that is around SEO.
Well, thank you for having me on, and hopefully I demystified a little bit of it, but just keep working on it and they'll see that traction come on, because it does take time, but patience with SEO is number one.
Thank you so much. And that is it for us today. This is Beate Chelette, the Growth Architect, and thank you for listening, and goodbye.
And that's it for us today. Thank you for listening and watching the Business Growth Architect Show. I enjoyed having you here. And for accountability, just take one of the strategies that you have heard, one thing that you can implement in your business immediately. Please leave comments. Don't forget to like and share this show. And if you have any questions about business, please put them in the comments. We are here for you. We're here to support you and help you to grow, build, and scale your own business. For more advice, please check out our website in the show notes below. Thank you again. This is Beate Chelette, the Growth Architect, and goodbye.